Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Again, I'm as excited as it gets for our first guest. He was here once before and did 3 hours with us, which was very generous. I'm a big fan. I've actually worked with him before. And he's going to sing, he's going to talk with us. The great Danny Aiello. How are you, Dan?
Pretty good, Artie. It's great seeing you. You too, John.
Good. John Ritchie. We have to mention this because it literally just happened a couple hours ago. James Gandolfini. I mean, really, first of all, scary and sad. I don't know how well you knew him, if at all, and what you thought of him as an actor.
I thought he was a wonderful actor,
yeah.
and I didn't know him well, but each time we saw each other, we, hello. And
mutual
it was
respect.
always very mutual, usually at benefits. One heart share, which he was constantly coming to. He was a great person for benefits such as that. He helped a lot of people. But 20 minutes ago, I'm sitting in the green room.
Right.
A little young lady, your assistant, came in, and she was on the computer. And I hear someone died. This had to be 20, 25 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And she told me it was Jimmy Gandolfini, and he was in Italy. I didn't know him, but I started to cry. I wasn't slobbering all over the place,
right.
But it's just impossible to believe that a person at that age, his life ended so soon.
Quickly.
Yeah. It reminds me of my son. I was
Right.
telling you off the air, my son Danny died of pancreatic cancer. The situation was similar. It came as a shock, and as this did as well. I just took my heart and soul go out to his mother, his family, and I don't know what else to say except...
Yeah, no, it's hard. I just, again, it is very...
It's going to be hard to sing, I'll be honest with you. But let me say, whatever the songs are, they're going to be dedicated to Jimmy and his family.
Good, yeah. Yeah, he was. I'm glad you mentioned that you did other work with him, too, because he was a charitable guy. And you mentioned your son, Danny. I worked with him at Rescue Me. He was an amazing stunt coordinator.
Yeah,
and,
good boy.
My God, I never saw a guy more liked by people. And I know we talked baseball for the couple of days I was on the set working with him, and I felt like I knew him for 30 years, And it's just, but anyway. So, it's just something that we had to mention. How are you, Dan?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Actually, we're going to be Sunday, the 23rd. We'll be at the Gotham Comedy Club. Well, this is unusual because usually they have comedy.
But it's a beautiful room.
I love the room.
I work there all the time.
I went there with Chris Mazzilli, the guy who runs the place.
Chris, yeah.
Looked at me one day and I said, "Mike, do you do music here?" I said, "This is a fantastic layout. I love it."
Yeah.
He said, "You want to do music here?" So a few months passed by, and before I know it, he asked if I would do it, and I said yes.
You're going to love working with Chris. Is as classy as a guy
Good guy.
gets, and I actually taped the Comedy Central special there, and I work there all the time. It's a beautiful room for that. So
it really is.
It's like a lounge, loungy type of thing. And
it's
so
very, very comfortable.
What are you doing? Like classic Sinatra?
No, I don't do the thing. When I began, I have 4 albums out.
Right.
One, of course, was the first one hit #4 on Billboard's traditional jazz chart.
Right. I should say your album now is Bridges.
Right. Right next to Tony Bennett.
Sure.
I was there for about 2 weeks, but it was there. It's worth mentioning. And then, of course, I did an album called Live at Atlantic City, which we sat at the Sands Hotel. And the reason I did that is because Sinatra's last album was at the Sands, so I thought I would emulate that in some way. And then the next one was dedicated to my son, Danny. It was a Christmas called A Christmas Song for You, which we did. Last Christmas it came out.
That must have been difficult. But
that was hard, but you'll feel it.
Right.
If you were to get that particular purchase, that album, you'll feel all the emotion that's necessary to be felt under those circumstances.
Right.
And then, of course, we did with a rapper, Hassan. Hassan's name is Damon Johnson. He's a terrific producer. He produces Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey.
That's great.
But we met, and he said, I'd love to attach some rap. I hate rap. You should know that. I hate it. Well, we don't do dirty rap. You understand? His real name is Damon Johnson.
It's not gangster.
No, it's not gangster rap. It's none of that stuff because forget about it. I'll be throwing punches all over the place. But what we did, we got together one day. I was not far from here, as a matter of fact, in Varick Street.
Yeah.
We're shooting in Chung King's studio. I'm doing an album. So I come out, there's this entourage in the audience, which was a bunch of rappers and their people, and they happened to look at me. They saw Do the Right Thing.
Right.
Oh, I loved you and all that with the pizza, the Albeats, whatever it was. So I said, well, thank you very much. And Hassan said, what are you doing here? I said, well, I'm recording an album. He said, really? I said, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm doing something too. So we both went into each studio. I heard what he was doing. He heard what I was doing. We met the next day. This is an unusual thing. I mean, totally unusual. And he said, Danny, maybe we can do something together. So we came up with a plan, classic standards with rap. First time ever done.
Wow, it's interesting.
The first time ever done. And the first song that we did was Bésame Mucho. written by Consuelo Velasquez, 15 years old, in 1940.
Wow.
Now, I utilize my grandchildren as my barometers.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have 11 of them. So whenever they hear me sing, oh, yeah, Grandpa's great, but he sucks. You know what I mean? That's what they're really thinking. They don't remember the song when I'm singing it. We attached Hassan to Besame Mucho.
Yeah.
Now they remember every word.
They love
They're
it.
constantly singing, and the song got 490,000
Oh, my
hits
God.
on YouTube.
Damn, that's huge.
So for an old bastard like me, that's not too bad. Do we have to beep that?
No, that's all right. That's fine. But that's huge, man.
Yeah.
Almost 500,000 hits on YouTube.
I know. It's kind of wild. And that's what happened. And we got notice from, not it came by someone else. It came purely by accident. Quincy Jones says, Danny Aiello sings his ass off. Now, don't believe that. But he said it. I never met Quincy, but someone told me he said it. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's funny. I happen to know Quincy Jones because he produced a show, Mad TV, that I was on. My first break ever. And he does. I had 7 conversations with him in my life, and it was like talking to you, quite frankly.
Right.
It was like 7 of the best conversations I've ever had in my life. Fascinating guy, great storyteller. I bet he did say it. I would assume he seems like the kind of guy who would love
people
you.
at the Friars Club said they were at a dinner party with him, and they said, I'm going to play something for you, and I want you people to tell me who that is that's singing. It's not Sinatra, and it's not Bennett.
Okay.
He plays my record. Which record it was, we have no idea.
Right.
But he plays the record, and a young girl, one of the young children, said, that sounds like Danny Aiello. He said, that's Danny Aiello.
No
so
kidding.
I was shocked to hear Quincy Jones, because I'm not serious. I mean, that's my avocation.
Right,
not my
right.
vocation.
Well, you know, it's funny. The world of hip hop and rap, it started getting big when I was in high school. So I do like a lot of rap and hip hop. But the real talented people in it are the producers. Like what they do in a studio is amazing.
I know, it's incredible.
You know, it's like the Dr. Dre's of the world and these guys. They have an insane ear how to make something listenable and pop. Like right in the studio without even using somebody on a mic.
We
they
do
just
something.
place it around.
Well, he produces with me, Hassan. We go into a studio, just as you said. He comes in with a legal pad.
Right.
There's nothing this. It's not typing, not an internet thing, not a computer. And he will not rap or write rap until he hears my portion of the song.
Right.
I'll sing my portion, and he'll go off into the side, and he'll start writing, and he
reacts to it.
And he writes something tantamount to what I'm singing about.
Brilliant.
Which, in his own words, is equal to what I've been talking about, so that we do make sense. He does it on every record. How he does it, I don't know. But if any of you people get this album, trust me, we were the first to do classic standard with rap. I don't care who says it. Nobody's ever done it but us. We're the first. Not Steven Tyler. He did some rock thing with a
rock,
rapper.
maybe. Yeah.
Yes.
That was Walk This Way. Yeah.
But not classic standard. So we feel as if we were right on with that, you know.
Talk to me about your acting career at this point. Are you at a point where are you trying to slow down, or do you
I don't slow down.
actively looking for stuff, or you I'm sure you get a ton of offers that you have to like sift through and go pick and choose, you know?
We get a lot of them, Artie.
Right.
That's constant because we have somewhat of a name.
Sure.
Usually some independent film, they're looking to raise money, and that's when they try to get you involved. They may offer you a cameo role, which of course I would refuse. I won't do anything unless I'm doing something significant in the movie. If I'm not, I'd rather pass on it.
It's a good rule to have, though,
I just did a movie. I finished a movie in L.A. called Reach Me. Tom Berenger, myself, Sylvester Stallone, John Hirschfeld directed it. Do you remember John? Yeah. John directed 2 Days in the Valley, which I did with him and Charlize Theron.
Also, you're fantastic. And I just watched that on cable the other day.
Fun. I had more fun doing that. It was one of the fun times.
Your line with the gun is about, no, I'll cook.
No, I'll cook. What about slapping that guy around? What about that wig?
That was fantastic.
I have to tell you, Glenn Headley, you know her.
She's an awesome actress.
She is one of the great actors. She was in Dirty Scoundrels, and she was sensational. Now, when I'm with her, and we do interview shows, or we're on the side in a green room, I have a tendency to say some bad words.
Right.
But I will never say it in front of a woman.
Right.
Knowingly. Mm-hmm. So when I realize she's there, I'm sorry, forgive me. But listen, you mother. And we're talking like this now. We go on CNN. We're being interviewed about the movie.
Yeah.
She's impersonating me. I'm not saying a word. I'm just next to her. And she said, I have to tell you about Danny. Of course, John Hirschfeld, the director, asked Danny to shave his head. And then he said, what the? Oh, excuse me, that she would say that. It was the funniest thing. I'm going to send you a clip of it that you have to play it sometime. She will blow your mind.
Yeah, I love that.
That's how funny she is.
I'd love to hear that.
But John Hirschfeld did this. And,
That's good. Yeah, I saw that on
Kelsey
on the
Grammer's
sheet.
in it.
Right.
Tom Berenger. Oh, God, there's so many. So many of them escape my mind. Tom... Kira said, how should I forget it? Because she's the best, and all of us have equal roles.
Oh, cool.
We have about 9 days each, and I play an alcoholic priest.
It's like a true ensemble.
Yes, it's great. It's
Alcoholic priest, that must have been fun.
Well, I told him, I didn't want, he offered me a wise guy. I said, I've done this 100 times. Johnny, I don't want to even come out to California. I hate to fly. So he said, oh, please, Danny, come out. We did this. We got a lot of good people. Please come up. I said, look, I'm not interested in the role.
Right.
But the priest looks good, but it's very slight. He said, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want the priest to not wear his collar in situations and only wear it when he's doing his work, which is the religious work. I said, I want him to be an alcoholic, and I want him to have gone into seminary because some woman he was in love with left him 30 years ago. So his choice of going into the seminary was not because of God, but because of his broken heart.
It's way more interesting.
Right, and then later he naturally fell in love with what he was doing, and the decision then became to become a priest because of his feelings about God Almighty.
Right.
So that was it. And alcoholic, but a character I promise you that you might like.
Well, you play. I mean, Dan Aiello playing an alcoholic priest. I'm buying a ticket. I mean, that should put that in the paper. I'm buying a ticket.
John's not saying much. I feel bad.
No, it's all right.
I'm talking
Just
too much,
listening.
John.
No, it's amazing.
He's sitting between two gaccherones.
I want to ask you, the bookie from Las Vegas.
Yeah, John Aiello.
Another Italian?
Oh, yeah.
A bookie. Why should I be surprised?
Bookie's out. We got a long go.